It's my pleasure to welcome Honorable Sushil Premjan, Minister of Education and the General Secretary of the UPFA on our show this evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, last weekend we had MP Ravi Karunayaka talk about the manifesto of General Sarath Fonseca, the economics angle of it, because this is an economic show. So we invited yourself to present your case and tell our audience what His Excellency the President has in store in his part 2 of the Chintana if he gets elected next year.
Yes, so thank you very much for accommodating me this morning to present our case to the general public regarding the policy statement of His Excellency the President, Mahinda Chintana, the vision.
Yes.
So actually, at the outset, I have to explain a little what happened to the Mahinda Chintana 1 in the year 2005.
Yes.
So the 2005, 5 years ago, we had a completely different situation in the country.
Correct.
Economically, socially, and politically, different situation. So then in the year 2005, His Excellency the President, when he contested for the presidential election, presented Mahinda Chintana 1.
Yes.
So in that Mahinda Chintana, of course, most of the issues mentioned in that Mahinda Chintana 1 have been fulfilled. Now, there are certain areas, mainly the education, health, then infrastructure development, and apart from all, of course, the people at that time expected how to solve the ethnic issue or the northern and eastern problem by the candidates who elected at the 2005.
Yes.
So then, of course, the main slogan at that election was this particular issue. So then, His Excellency the President tried his level best to have a negotiated settlement. And we went for the first discussion, and for the second discussion, of course, they didn't come to the table.
Yes.
So as a result, of course, we had to abandon these discussions. So then, of course, we were not ready at that time for any kind of offensive or the defensive action. So because the till 2005, say from 2000 onwards, of course, there were many suggestions for negotiations and the discussions. We had many discussions during Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe's regime and during Her Excellency the Chandrika Bandara Kumartungas.
Yes.
Now, of course, then we have to get ready for any kind of a solution. Then once we abandoned the discussions, then of course in the mid 2006, after attacking the then commander. And so many series of suicide attacks to the politicians and in buses and important places, of course. Then suddenly the Mavil Laro incident taken place.
Right.
So at that time, of course, the commander was not in the island because he had been treated at that time in abroad.
Right.
So then acting commander and the chief of staff, I think, to my knowledge, General Mallavarachi, he took the leadership and then started liberating the Mavil Laro area for the benefit of farmers and the general public. So that is why we said it's a humanitarian operation. So then, of course, it was continued, and then entire eastern part liberated. Then, of course, we had this Madhu church shrine completely, of course, taken away and occupied by LTT and all that. So then we started northern humanitarian operation. Then it's ended up somewhere around 18th of May last year.
Yes.
So then of course now we have the different situation.
Correct. Right.
So then completely the change has been taken place in the society, then politically and economically.
Right.
So then when we talk about economics, the scenario of the economy, then of course now the different situation. Now the latter part of the humanitarian operation, somewhere around April of in the year 2009. Now, say for an example, stock market crash.
Yes.
And then we had only 1.2 billion US dollars of foreign reserves.
That's right.
Enough for only 6 weeks.
Right.
So then of course the government took steps to apply for a loan from IMF and all that. So then however now they have released only 2 installments so far.
Yes.
By last month, of course, we have increased our foreign reserves up to 5.3 billion US dollars.
Yeah.
And the stock market also went up.
Yeah.
So then I think, and at the same time, also, I can remember the inflation rates in the year 2008, the mid 2008, somewhere around 28%.
Correct.
Now it has come down to below 5% or something like that.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So like that, of course, there are many. If you consider the many indicators, then you find we are in a comfortable situation comparing to the earlier situation. That is why I say now there's a completely changed situation. Now we are talking about Mahinda Chintane. The two are beyond Mahinda.
Let me just ask you a few questions based on what you said. First of all, you said most of the promises of Mahinda Chintana 1 have been fulfilled. I'm not going to go through a whole list. Actually, I went through Mahinda Chintana 1, downloaded it, and actually I'll talk about this one promise was to actually keep the growth rate at 8%, right? Was that was the main thing.
Yes.
But in 2005, the growth rate was 6.2%. In 2006, it was 7.7. In 2007, it was 6.8. In 2008, it was 6, and in 2009, it was some 3.5. We haven't still got the final figure. So, in fact, not a single year was that 8% growth maintained, right? So when I'm just speaking on economics, right?
Yes.
So to me, the main economics promise was that growth, and by that growth, hopefully, the distribution of that newly created wealth to all people. So how do you respond to that, Mr. Minister?
Yeah, I can respond to that. Because the thing is now we are talking about Sri Lankan situation. Then what happened in Europe? And most of the Western countries, even in Malaysia, Singapore, and Japan, of course, they were forecasting. They forecasted say 5%, 6%, 7% like that. Even China, of course, they had prior to 2008, right, somewhere around 11 to 12% growth rate, then went down to 9%. In China, in India, so in Western countries and in Europe is the worst situation. So now the thing is, it all depends on the climate change, the changing of the situation and all that. Actually, when we presented the Mahinda Chintane 1, of course, we predicted that there will be some kind of a solution to the ethnic issue, the main problem. So without solving that problem, of course, you can't target.
That's okay. I mean, like a lot of countries, like you said, had a dip last year, but I was actually talking about a more longer term dip. But that's okay. But generally, let me ask you: are you satisfied? Your government satisfied with the kind of growth that has happened?
Yes, of course. Comparing to the other countries in the West or East, of course, and with the recession of the world in the world economy,